Do you think it's selfish to continue a family feud?
I don't know, it's tricky, isn't it? It's always for the reasons behind it. I mean, two sides to every story, etc. I always find when you have friends that get divorced, you always face that sort of dilemma of, do you take sides or do you try and chart a steady course down the middle? But I mean, I had a really, I'm going to try and tell this really quickly, I had a really weird experience. It was like something out of a Hollywood movie. Years and years and years ago, I met a guy through work, a gay guy. We hit it off, we just got on brilliantly. We moved into a flat together. We went on holiday together. We were in Key West, Mecca of all gay people. I had to go with him. Yes, marvellous. He was writing his postcards and he wrote down Nana George. And I said, oh, isn't that funny? My grandma's surname was Nana George. And he said, oh, very common in Wales, very common name. Got back home, rang me when he went back to see his mum. And he went, is your grandma called Mary Ann? I said, yes. And he went, oh, my God, we're cousins. And we were sharing a flat already. Anyway, I had loads of photo albums on the bookshelves. We got them down. I said, well, here's my grandparents' wedding. There was his grandfather. So my grandmother and his grandfather were brother and sister.
Wow.
And his grandfather was in all the pictures that had been on our flat shelves all that time that he'd not seen. Another picture of his mum and my mum, aged 10, who were sort of like the best of friends then, with their arms around each other in the back garden. When they were 10, our grandparents had a massive argument. The family went like that, and no one ever spoke to anybody, and it just, you know, this big separation, until I ended up sharing a flat. How many people are there in London?
Incredible.
With one of the grandsons.
And did it bring the family together?
Yeah. So we had a big party. We went down to Wales. We got his mum and my mum back together. Did the picture again of when they were when they were 10, and yeah, it was amazing. But I kind of think no one ever knew what the feud was about, and I think the repercussions 50 years later.
Yeah.
You know why?
That's incredible.
I always find it scary how a family has a feud like that. When I think about brothers and sibling rivalry, I always look at my children and I feel like, do I treat them differently? Is there something I ever do to make them feel like one's inferior to the other? Because I think that, as they grow up, is what will determine whether they fall out or how their relationship is. And I know that because of my own personal reasons, I always side with, well, not side with, but I'm a little bit more sensitive with my eldest.
Yeah.
Because I feel that he needs it a lot more than my youngest, who's really resilient and has other aspects of life which Zach doesn't.
But that's fair enough, because you're reading them both and you're caring enough to actually balance things.
I feel like I have to cap it and I have to really think about it, because what if that's the reason 20 years down the line that boys or brothers or sisters end up saying, oh,
you were mum's favourite.
Yeah. And then end up having these massive feuds over something that started really small.
I don't think you let the grammar into your family. You don't allow, you make it understood from the beginning. The grammar of falling out and feuding and not speaking to each other. Don't allow it in your house, because it's like a cancer that will spread.
Yes.
You simply don't allow it.
Do you, if anybody in your family falls out, do you try not to take sides?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 4 sons. Of course, they fall out from time to time, but I make it very plain. I'm not going to take sides. I think you're both stupid.
Yeah, I
knock
think
their
that's
heads
fair.
together and then wait for things to calm down. Yeah. And so far, touch wood, things have.
But it is amazing how common it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we had loads of fantastic emails.
Brilliant emails. Well, I say brilliant, some of them are heartbreaking, but thank you for writing into us. Pauline, I haven't spoken to my parents for nearly 30 years because they didn't agree with my choice of husband. We were together for nearly 30 years before he died. Walking away from my parents was the best thing I ever did. Gosh. Melanie says you can pick your friends. It's a shame you can't pick your family. Walk away. It's less stress.
That's so sad.
That is very sad.
I couldn't live without my family, and that is my worst nightmare. My children and my nieces and nephews having animosity between them. I just couldn't think of anything.
I mean, there are
worse.
some situations where it's untenable. You know, you have to make a break. But otherwise, you think, just talk about it, because the impact on children and everything, their wider family suddenly breaks up. You know, it's not good.
We had it in my family. I just remembered, actually, just reading this. It was my great-grandparents going back. Basically, my great-granddad, maybe my great-great, renounced his faith to marry a woman who wasn't of the same faith, and his family basically disowned him. And it wasn't till right on his dad's deathbed that actually the wife got them both, banged their heads together, and they made their peace at the deathbed, just before he died.
For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free, and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content.